Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been paying even a tiny bit of attention to the tech world lately, you know that keeping up with artificial intelligence, well, it feels exactly like trying to drink from a fire hose, right? There are just so many models, constant updates, and honestly, a whole lot of noise. But don't worry, because today we're going to completely distill that overwhelming AI landscape into a really simple, highly actionable framework. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which model to use and exactly when to use it. So let's dive right into it. We all face this literal daily flood of new AI releases. A new version drops, and suddenly your entire feed is debating whether it's the new king of the hill. But here's the thing, the core challenge isn't about memorizing every single benchmark. It's actually about knowing which model fits your highly specific project needs at any given moment. Ask yourself, do you need speed right now? Do you need cheap processing? Or do you absolutely need raw, unfiltered brain power? Okay, here is our flight plan for today. We'll be covering the airplane analogy, flagships, which are the heavyweights, light models built for speed, mid-tier workhorses, and we'll wrap up with open source and specialists. Moving into section 1, the airplane analogy, we're going to map out AI capability, size, speed, and cost. This analogy brilliantly illustrates the whole ecosystem. Picture this. On one extreme, you have commercial jets. These are your flagship models. Massive, highly capable of crossing oceans, but, they're kind of slow and really expensive to operate. Then you have your private jets. These represent your light models. Super fast, nimble, but with a smaller capacity. Right in the middle, the Boeing 737s. These are your mid-tier AI models that perfectly balance cost and capacity. Then we've got privately owned aircraft representing open source and highly specialized search and rescue helicopters for, well, your specialist models. Think about it. You wouldn't fire up a massive commercial jet just to quickly hop over to a neighboring town, right? In the same way, you absolutely shouldn't burn your money using a slow, expensive flagship AI for a simple, urgent task. All right, section 2, flagships, the heavyweights, the big commercial jets of AI. When we look at the current top flagships, you start to see their unique superpowers emerge. First up, you've got OpenAI's GPT 5.2. This is the ultimate well-rounded tool. It handles everything from multimodality to really complex analysis. Next is Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6. Now, this one is the most expensive and the slowest of the bunch, and it can't directly generate images, but honestly, its sheer mastery of code generation is just completely unmatched. Then you have Grok 4.1. Grok is kind of fascinating because it's a bit of an anomaly. It's highly capable, incredibly fast, and features this absolutely massive 2 million token context window. To put that into perspective, you could literally chuck an entire book into it all at once. But actually, Grok has another totally unexpected superpower: emotional intelligence. In a recent test, a user prompted the models about feeling totally burnt out after working 80-hour weeks and dealing with investor rejection. Grok stood out from the pack entirely. It delivered this remarkably empathetic, high EQ response that actually validated the user's fear of failure and the terror of quitting. It doesn't just ramble on or make a bunch of cold assumptions. Instead, it acts as a genuinely compassionate sounding board, and it does all of this while generating its response way faster than its competitors. Rounding out our flagship heavyweights is Google's Gemini 3 Pro. Just like Grok, it features that same massive 2 million token context window, which is perfect for processing those gigantic documents. But where Gemini 3 Pro truly shines brilliantly is in multimodality. Let's say you need to generate an image of a professional woman, and then you need that exact same character teaching at a whiteboard, then working in a coffee shop, and then leading a workshop. Gemini 3 Pro is your go-to because it maintains incredible character consistency across all those wildly different visual scenarios. Let's shift gears to section 3, light models. These are built purely for speed, the private jets of AI. To really see the difference here in action, picture this scenario. You need to summarize a massive, deeply complex 2025 global climate report. But oops, you procrastinated and you have exactly 1 minute before a major meeting starts. If you use the flagship Gemini 3 Pro, yeah, it'll give you incredible depth and highly precise numerical metrics, but it is probably going to take too long. If you use Gemini 3 Flash instead, it gets the job done almost instantly. You're trading just a tiny bit of depth for blazing speed, delivering a brief, accurate executive summary exactly when you need it most. So you might be wondering, how on earth do these light models stay so incredibly smart while being so small? Well, the secret is a super cool process called knowledge distillation. Essentially, developers take a massive flagship model like Gemini 3 Pro and they literally distill its knowledge, packaging the best parts into the much smaller Flash model. This brilliant technique allows the light model to retain about 90 to 95% of the larger model's capabilities. It's effectively taking the raw brilliance of a giant commercial jet and packing it perfectly into a tiny, super agile private aircraft.
Moving right along to Section 4, the mid-tier workhorses. These are the Boeing 737s of the AI world.
Listen, these mid-tier models, they're going to handle roughly 80% of your daily queries. Models like Claude Sonnet 4.5 are the ultimate workhorses in this space. Think of it as the slightly less fancy but way more usable day-to-day version of Claude Opus. If you need to build a coding project from scratch, like, say, visualizing an interactive lunar cycle web app, Sonnet is perfectly capable. You get amazing, highly functional results without having to burn the super expensive fuel of a flagship model. Interestingly, you'll also notice some very distinct personalities emerging at this tier, depending entirely on what you actually need. While Grok offers deep empathy for your problems, acting like a virtual shoulder to cry on, Claude Sonnet takes a very strict, action-driven approach. When presented with the exact same problem, Sonnet focuses heavily on solutions and mapping out what your next steps should be. It's a really fascinating look at how we can now pick a model not just for its raw processing power, but for its actual communication style. Finally, Section 5, Open Source and Specialists, our owned aircraft and those search and rescue helis. Okay, open source models like Kimi 2.5 basically act as your privately owned aircraft. Now, Kimi actually boasts the heavy-hitting capabilities of a flagship model. But because it's completely open source, you can literally download it and run it locally on your own computer. This gives you two absolutely massive advantages. Number one, it is completely free to run. And number two, it guarantees 100% data privacy. You have total control of the whole shebang, keeping your sensitive information entirely off of third-party servers.
And that translates into some incredibly powerful real-world use cases. Think about it. If you're building an AI agent to parse through your highly secure private financial statements, there is no way you want to be leaking that data to a third-party API. Or say you want an agent to read through hundreds of your personal emails every single day just to flag the important ones. Using a closed-source model for that would rack up astronomical API costs. Open-source models solve both that privacy issue and the cost issue in one fell swoop. Plus, models like Kimi 2.5 really excel at bilingual capabilities. It can seamlessly analyze a complex contract in Chinese and perfectly explain it back to you in English. Now, for those hyper-specific tasks, we rely on specialist models. I love to think of these as the search and rescue helicopters of the AI world. A fantastic example of this is Perplexity's Sonar. It's actually based on an open-source model, but has been highly modified using fine-tuning and what we call RAG systems, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Sonar is trained explicitly for doing really complex research. If you ask it to find the current FDA approval status, clinical trial results, and expert opinions on a specific new drug, it will sift through massive amounts of internet data, determine exactly what is credible, and deliver a beautifully detailed answer backed entirely by highly credible citations. So what does this all mean for us? The biggest takeaway here is that the AI space absolutely does not have to be an overwhelming mess. You now possess a permanent, rock-solid framework for categorizing AI. Whether a model focuses on raw, heavy capability, blinding speed, cost efficiency, total privacy, or highly specialized research, you are now fully equipped to confidently navigate whatever shiny new models arrive on the runway tomorrow. Because honestly, the models will definitely keep changing, but these underlying structural categories, they won't. The real question isn't just which AI you will choose to pilot next, but rather, as these digital aircraft increasingly start flying themselves, what kind of fleet commander will you become?